take a look down under with this week's Fish Eye View, sponsored by Mercury, #1 on the water. Some of our viewers admit they tune into the Real Fishing Show just to see a few decent fish being caught. Others tell us it's the information on tackle and techniques that keep them coming back. Of all the questions we receive, where were you fishing is most common. Now, you may have noticed that Bob doesn't always mention exact locations, with the exception of big waters like Simcoe, Quinte, or the Great Lakes. This includes filming locations for the Fish Eye View. But we do offer some honest clues, a lake near Halliburton, for example. On behalf of everyone at Real Fishing, we apologize for this lack of information, but there's a very important reason behind it. We've learned from past experience that smaller waters can only withstand so much pressure and publicity. With a limited stock of fish, it doesn't take long to damage a lake or river. Even if it's strictly catch and release, there's a small percentage of mortality despite good intentions. In time, local economies can also suffer. Allow us to be perfectly honest. In Ontario alone, there are hundreds of fishing hotspots that surpass anything seen on the show. With a bit of searching, you can find these hidden treasures. In an effort to preserve that great fishing, who can blame you for keeping a few secrets? Anyone who's experienced a fly-in trip knows how great the fishing can be. With limited pressure, these places offer fishing the way it used to be in the good old days. Alternatives to flying are drive-to locations like Beauchesne in Quebec, where proper management guarantees good things. Apart from that, you can go your own way and access remote locations by ATV or on foot. Fact is, the harder a place is to get into, the better the prospects. Even closer to home are countless hotspots that see little or no pressure because of difficult access. Let's face it, most anglers simply aren't willing to work this hard to catch fish. Heavy structure also has potential. Most rivers and lakes have places that look impossible to fish, but hold some big possibilities. In this case, we uncovered a hidden treasure of giant brown trout. Other virtually untapped resources are privately owned locations. We're not suggesting you trespass. Rather, approach landowners for permission to fish. That's exactly what we did to get these shots. From our experience, if you state your intentions to respect the property and fish, more often than not, access will be granted. In the end, you can secure rights to some of the very best fishing imaginable. Let's take a look down under with this week's Fish Eye View, sponsored by Mercury, #1 on the water. The #1 question on every angler's mind is how many fish are actually down there. In some cases, it's a lot more than you think. If the bite is on, you can get a pretty good idea, taking into consideration you'll never get them all. But if the weather is bad and they're shut down, it's difficult to tell. A fish finder is one option. Still, you can't always be sure what species you're marking. With a slow, steady approach, video surveillance is the definitive way to conduct an accurate survey. And that brings us to the #1 question we receive. Where on earth do you find that many fish in one place? On waters accessed by others, we always locate a real glory hole. Most are well known and heavily fished. This, for instance, is a typical steelhead situation and a common reaction from a large group of pressured fish. A better plan is to find those secondary, overlooked hotspots. Try looking for isolated structure like transitions, gradual drop-offs, or depressions. On shorelines, check out places that appear to be impossible to fish, heavy weeds, brush piles, and so on. In rivers, look for pools with structure that remain shaded all day. With a bit of scouting, you too can have a secret glory hole all to yourself.